is located on the western part of Papua Island in Indonesia part. It has over 400 islands with more than 200 dive sites and entire islands, located off the northwest tip of Bird's Head Peninsula on the island of New Guinea, in Indonesia's West Papua province. Raja Ampat, or the Four Kings, is an archipelago comprising over 1,500 small islands, cays, and shoals surrounding the four main islands of Misul, Salawati, Batanta, and Waigeo, and the smaller island of Koh Phiao. Raja Ampat Regency is a new regency which separated from Sarang Regency in 2004. It encompasses more than 40,000 square kilometers of land and sea, which also contains Cenderawasih Bay, the largest marine national park in Indonesia. It is a part of the newly named West Papua province of Indonesia, which was formerly Irian Jaya. Some of the islands are the most northern pieces of land in the Australian continent. The oceanic natural resources around Raja Ampat give it significant potential as a tourist area. Many sources place Raja Ampat as one of their top 10 most popular places for diving, whilst it retains the #1 ranking in terms of underwater biodiversity. According to Conservation International, marine surveys suggest that the marine life diversity in the Raja Ampat area is the highest recorded on Earth. Diversity is considerably greater than any other area sampled in the Coral Triangle, composed of Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, and Timor-Leste. The Coral Triangle is the heart of the world's coral reef biodiversity, making Raja Ampat quite possibly the richest coral reef ecosystems in the world. 1,309 fish species, 537 coral species, a remarkable 96% of all scleractinia recorded from Indonesia are likely to occur in these islands, and 75% of all species that exist in the world, and 699 mollusk species. The variety of marine life is staggering. Some areas boast enormous schools of fish and regular sightings of sharks, such as wobbegongs. Raja Ampat Islands has a deserved reputation as one of the best places in the world for snorkeling, diving and underwater photography, but from what we've seen on the internet, few seem to realize that the snorkeling in Raja Ampat is also among the world's best. The range of habitats and marine life in the ocean's top few meters is just astounding. Even better, most accommodation in Raja Ampat has fantastic snorkeling available right at the door. Some homestays offer snorkeling equipment for hire, but it's best to take your own. You won't want the experience diminished by ill-fitting fins or leaking masks. The islands has so many places to snorkeling. From shore of your lodges or homestay to deep snorkeling using boat, it's home of manta rays with other pelagics. It's the colors that strike you first. Above your rattan lounge chair on tiger blue, a wooden schooner sailing through Indonesia's West Papua province, blood red sails billow against the sky. Luminous green forests seem to glow on shore. All around, the water glistens azure, turquoise, and in the shallows, a pale crystalline aquamarine. You've already hiked island slopes and snorkeled with sea turtles and manta rays, so perhaps it's time for a nap in a shaded hammock? This evening, you'll moor alongside a sheltered beach for a lobster barbecue. Later, though there are 4 spacious cabins aboard, you might sleep on linen-covered cushions under the stars. 200 fish species, a world record 284 on one single dive at Koh Phiao Island. Benchmark figure for an excellent dive site of 200 fish species surpassed on 51% of Raja Ampat dives, another world record. 600 coral species, a remarkable 97% of all sclerotinia recorded from Indonesia are likely to occur in these islands. 699 mollusk species, again another world high. It is believed that the region will soon receive protected area status. The term, frontier diving seems to have been invented for the Raja Ampat Islands. To visit these waters is to feel at the edge of the earth, to gaze over the crystalline seas from on board a liveaboard at the beehive-shaped, largely uninhabited islands is to be as far away from it all as you can imagine. At many places on the sea in Asia, the night sky is lit up like Piccadilly Circus by fishing boats. At nighttime in Missoula you can peer out at the horizon and maybe see one or two distant specks of light. Scuba diving in West Papua mostly takes the form of drift dives due to the moderate currents prevalent in the area, which provide nutrients for the myriad fish and coral. The variety of marine life can be staggering. Some areas boast enormous schools of fish and regular sightings of sharks, such as wabbegongs. At Mansour it's highly likely you'll encounter large groups of manta rays and turtles. The oceanic natural resources around Raja Ampat give it significant potential as a tourist area. Many sources place Raja Ampat as one of their top 10 most popular places for diving, whilst it retains the #1 ranking in terms of underwater biodiversity, according to Conservation International. Marine surveys suggest that the marine life diversity in the Raja Ampat area is the highest recorded on Earth. 3. Diversity is considerably greater than any other area sampled in the Coral Triangle, composed of Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, and East Timor. The Coral Triangle is the heart of the world's coral reef biodiversity, making Raja Ampat quite possibly the richest coral reef ecosystems in the world. The area's massive coral colonies, along with relatively high sea surface temperatures, also suggest that its reefs may be relatively resistant to threats like coral bleaching and coral disease, which now jeopardize the survival of other coral ecosystems around the world. The Raja Ampat Islands are remote and relatively undisturbed by humans. The high marine diversity in Raja Ampat is strongly influenced by its position between the Indian and Pacific Oceans, as coral and fish larvae are more easily shared between the two oceans. Raja Ampat's coral diversity, resilience, and role as a source for larval dispersal make it a global priority for marine protection. 1,508 fish species, 537 coral species, a remarkable 96% of all scleractinia recorded from Indonesia are likely to occur in these islands, and 75% of all species that exist in the world, and 699 mollusk species. The variety of marine life is staggering. Some areas boast enormous schools of fish and regular sightings of sharks, such as wabbegongs. Raja Ampat Islands have at least 3 ponds contained unpoisoned jellyfish, all in Missoula area. Although accessing the islands is not that difficult, it takes some time. It takes 6 hours flight from Jakarta, the capital city of Indonesia, to Sorong. Then, taking a boat to reach the islands is necessary.